Keelan,
Hey David,
hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. It's cold outside.
It's cold and rainy.
It's cold and rainy. Yes, it is. Well,
Fizzle.
it is. Who's with us? Oh, Scott's there.
Hey,
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 David.
hello, Scott.
Howdy.
Hi
How are you?
Scott.
Hey, Keelan. How you doing?
Good.
Like your glasses.
Oh, thank you.
You changed your backdrop. I was looking forward to seeing the rainbow.
It's right here.
Oh, there it
I was
is.
with it like all day, and I'm like, you need a break. Like, we need a break from each other. I did
Awesome.
a couple videos, so I was like, I just needed a change.
Change of scenery. And you know what? I don't know about you guys. I know I like rain, but this is getting to be a bit much.
I know. I'm like, are we in Ireland? Because it looks like it. It feels like it.
Is
Can't
this what
remember.
it's is this what it's like in Ireland?
Or in Vermont. Yeah, totally.
Uh,
I just can't remember the last time we had this much rain in Southern California.
Right?
Kind of been like 15, 20 years or something. It's been a long time.
I've never known it. I've lived here for 10 years, and I've never known it to rain this long.
It's a bunch. Hey,
too
JP.
much, too much.
Hey guys.
Howdy.
JP, the light is coming, illuminating out of your head. You're so smart. You're filled with so much wisdom tonight that we could just see the light illuminating from the top of your head.
Yeah, I see that.
It's cool. I like it. So we are in for a big night tonight. Tonight is going to be a big, exciting night. We have a featured speaker. I love that we have so many great speakers in our club that I could just sit back and watch these amazing trainers train us, especially on something that I'm very passionate about. We saw someone just pop in there. She popped in and she popped out. Oh, there's Kyle. What's up, Kyle Kelly? Mr. Kelly.
Hey David, how you doing?
I am doing great. We're all we are we're about how many of
I ran to Arizona.
according to
At
Scott,
least.
10 to 15 years.
It's been a while.
Wow.
Yeah, Scott, I'm born and raised in California. I can't ever remember back-to-back storms like this, right? Typically you get rain, clears up for a few days or a few weeks, then it rains.
Nope.
But anyway, okay, well, Kyle, nice to have you here. This call is being recorded, so we're going to jump right in. We're not going to wait for everyone to come. So welcome all of you for being committed to our club. This is really exciting. And hello, Adelina. Nice to have you with us. We are right in the middle of jumping in here. So I know that Keelan has a lot to share with us tonight. And I'm just going to do a quick little introduction and remind you, those of you that can stay at 7:45 to 7:15 to do a little debrief and some feedback on how the program is going. From my perspective, it's been great to connect with all of you, and I've been hearing some exciting things. But tonight, the focus is going to be on succession plan. And as you guys know, I've said this many times, but anytime I get around other Toastmaster leaders and clubs, I love hearing them talk about our club. And I love that we are bragged on, and I get to brag on you guys tonight because this succession plan is really the core of what has been making our club so successful, is to be able to bring intentional mentoring into our club that has allowed us to prepare the leadership team to do the amazing, great things that we've been able to accomplish. So tonight, I thought it would be great to have Keelan with her expertise and passion for leadership, for presenting, for teaching and training on a topic that I know she is really knowledgeable on, because she's not only done this in her career, but has been able to provide some great mentoring to some of our members, as well as allowing me to mentor her as well. And one of the, here is a great indicator of if a succession plan is working. And I've seen this happen. You can look to this one indicator to point to a succession plan that is working. It is when someone takes over a role or a position that you've helped prepare, equip them, and mentor them in, and they take that role further than you took it, it means that the succession plan works. So this is a great way for me to introduce someone who I think is just a phenomenal leader and a great communicator and is so passionate in this role that I feel that I laid the foundation, but Keelan has taken it to a whole nother level. So please welcome Keelan as our presenter tonight. Keelan.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How are you?
Keelan. Yes.
Awesome. So, welcome. It's nice to see all of you. And so tonight I do have a PowerPoint presentation. So just bear with me one second because I've never shared on Zoom. So let me
The bottom middle, all the way to the bottom toolbar.
Okay. And I promise I'm not going to bore you guys with a PowerPoint, but I just wanted to make sure that we stayed on track with a couple of points. So tonight we're actually talking about a succession plan. So I first want to talk about the current understanding of what you guys think a succession plan is. And this is not a trick question at all, but I want to hear, what you guys think it is and what we can make it together. Okay. And then we're going to talk about the different benefits of doing a succession plan. And then we're going to go over the roles, the actual leadership roles in our Toastmasters Club, so you guys can have a better understanding. I know for me, when I joined Toastmasters, I wasn't quite sure who did what, how to get in there, how do I do this, and why would I want to? So we're going to talk about that in a little more depth. And then how to enroll. So I know that there are certain members that are dabbling and want to tip their toe in the water of maybe a leadership role. So tonight we're going to kind of talk about how you can enroll and we can lay that foundation to move forward with that succession. And then we'll have questions. So I'm hoping that this takes about 45 minutes. And I want this to be interactive and fun for you guys so I can see all of you. And I am going to put you on the spot. So first and foremost, what do you guys think a succession plan is?
I'll go.
All right, Scott, I love that bravery.
Sure. I mean, in the previous club I was at, what we did was made sure that people were interested in the roles, describe what we spent a little bit of time having people currently had the roles, explain what the roles did. And then the person who is doing it currently would, kind of give them a quick overview of things. And then you make sure they attend LACE training, which gives them a lot more detail, a lot more resources and things. And then when they take over the role, you make sure you kind of help them along for the first few meetings, and that way they just kind of fit right in and things proceed along as normal.
That's awesome, Scott. Thank you, seasoned member. And how did that work in your experience?
It worked out great. Because originally when I started the other club I was at, I was kind of the president and everything. So it was really nice to get all the slots filled and not have to do everything myself. And so it went from being a lot of work to run the club to when you have good people in each role, it really is not that much effort to keep things going because it's divided up nicely enough. You don't, get swamped.
That's great. That's awesome.
VP of Education is always a hard role.
And we'll talk about that. I see Adelina's ducked out for a moment, but we'll talk all about
kind of upside down there.
Those different roles.
Right back, guys. I'm right here. I'm listening. Sorry.
For our newer members, I kind of want to hear from you in regards to what you think a succession plan is or should be. Any of you guys want to go?
Well, this is Vanessa. I think it's something where a current member who's in the role would mentor or train somebody to kind of understand what that role entails and get them ready to take over that role. So when the time comes, it's not new anymore. They have a good grip on what the responsibilities are and they can take the job and run with it.
Beautiful. Exactly. Yes. Really, it's about cross-training, and we'll talk about that in a second so that we can all kind of depend on each other in different facets. JP, Kyle, is there anything that you want to add or questions that you have before we move on?
No real questions. Yeah, I would just piggyback off what both Vanessa and Scott already said. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, that it probably creates a lot of transparency. So yeah, kind of the same thing everyone else has been saying.
Perfect. Awesome. So with that said, how many of you who are not in a current leadership role would be interested in a leadership role in the future? I like hands. Hands are good. I like it.
Okay, yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Cool. That's great because really, we're going to go through the rules in what all of the different ones are, and then I'll kind of get a gauge on what you guys are interested in. But I want to talk about the benefits of doing a leadership role. First of all, our roles are for a year. So, you step into that and you agree to being within that role for a year, which is great because sometimes a year sounds like a long time, but it's really not. It gives us enough time to kind of learn the flow, to work as a team. And with whatever role that you choose, it's really yours to make your own. So I'm going to use David and I as an example. When Dane, left and David stepped into the president role, I said, I'm interested in doing the PR part really because I am interested in production and I'm interested in writing. So I kind of looked at what I wanted to excel at further within my personal life and used that role to kind of force myself into doing it. So it's almost like when we go to a meeting and we sign up for, let's say, a timer role. You have to be very specific and you have to be very on target. This is just kind of a level up. It's a bigger commitment, but you also get more out of it. So it kind of goes into the thread of giving. This is a, volunteer organization. So when we do, step into these roles, it really is gifting our time to the club. And it's not only just the club, you're really gifting your time to all of the other people that you are relating to and working with. As VP of PR, I really love talking about my experience in Toastmasters outside of Toastmasters. So I have friends all over the world, honestly. And when I speak about my experience, it enrolls them to go to their local chapter because there are chapters all over. And it's a giving, I don't get anything out of them going to another chapter. And additionally, with the VP of PR role, David set it up in his succession plan so that I am set up to win. He already had set up the newsletter, so I can tailor it and change it a little bit. But really, he set up a process for me so that I could just walk into it. And that's what he's doing right now with the president role. He's really, kind of using this mentor program to set all of us up for the next time we want to level up into whatever role. So with that said, can you guys think of any benefits that you personally could see in stepping into a leadership role in Toastmasters? I'm gonna pick on Kyle again because he's smiling.
The benefits would be getting comfortable with a leadership role and just all the tasks that go about and understanding how the whole function of Toastmasters works, along the lines of that, and just building on skills that you wouldn't be able to build somewhere else. that you would want to build on that would fit current traits that you already have, like yourself, when you want to do the PR role. So that's kind of what I would see as the benefits of it.
That's great. And you're right on target. So it's not just learning a role within Toastmasters, which is just as important and what we're getting out of it, but these are skills that you can identify within the club and then take out the door and use in your life. So, you know, let's say I wanted to sign up as treasurer next time, and that's going to help me with my money management. Or I want to go out and talk to the community more. So maybe I go into the membership role. And again, we'll go through the different roles and how those can apply. But it's true. It looks great on your resume, honestly, to, you know, have held a role at least for a year within an organization. And Toastmasters is almost 100 years old. So that's you know, that's one of the great benefits. And the other benefit that I'd like to touch on is helping, you know, people on a more intimate level within the club. So you're able to, you know, be that go-to person for maybe someone who's never been to a Toastmaster meeting. You know, you're the one who's kind of socializing with them and getting them in the door. So again, it's that giving aspect on a macro and a micro level. And, you know, what goes around comes around. Any other benefits you guys can think of? So another benefit that I'll throw towards you guys, and this isn't just for leadership, this is really for any Toastmaster member, is the benefit of listening. So as we become leaders, we don't talk as much, and we can sit and listen, and we can then step into that mentor role of being able to listen to the other people and then assist in that way. So in a leadership role, you might notice, you know, David jumps up there a lot, which is amazing, but oftentimes, you know, we're going to sit back and let the club kind of go in. And, you know, if everyone was fighting for a slot, which we're going to get to, you know, you'll see the leadership team kind of taking a step back. So in that, our listening skills grow exponentially, which is a great benefit for any of us to have.
Yes.
David, do you want to add anything before we move on into the role?
I would. I think you made a really good point, Keelan, about not only the benefit to Toastmasters, but as you said, when you stepped into the PR role, you knew that that role provided you an opportunity to use that skill and sharpen a skill you already had in your personal life and your professional life. I think that to me has been one of the greatest benefits of being on the leadership team at Toastmasters, because I've been able to leverage my role in all of my roles. I was Sergeant at Arms, and that gave me an opportunity to set the tone at the beginning of every meeting, and it gave me an opportunity to step into a leadership role that you really are able to leverage that influence. And you could tell, I mean, Harmony does such a great job of setting the tone, and again, has taken the Sergeant at Arms role to another level in the way that the meeting gets started. You know, who would have ever thought, drum roll, please, you know, and then boom, here we're off to a great start. And then I was going to say that, to your point about how we could look at this role to help us in a professional role selfishly. Yes, we want to give, and the more we give, there's that law of reciprocity. It comes back to us. But as we give to the club, there's opportunities all around us. For instance, you know, as the president, I'm calling all the mayors of all the coastal communities, and I use the leverage of president of Toastmasters to get in the door. I'm the president of Toastmasters of Laguna Beach. I would like to talk to you about not only Toastmasters, but for my business as well. So there are privileges that being on the leadership team affords us. So I just wanted to piggyback on what you were saying there, Keelan.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great distinction. And furthermore, you know, another point is that in the thread of the succession plan, at the leadership team, we all do a lot of different things behind the scenes that the newer members might not be aware of. And I will highlight Adelina right now because she spends a lot of time in her education role, stepping into something where there wasn't a succession plan, and has done an amazing job of making sure that we are all successful. And she spends a lot of time helping each of us on an individual level. So with this succession plan, it's really taking someone under our wing and I don't want to say cross-training, but, kind of enriching the role, not just so that it's me as VP of PR or it's Adelina just as education or Shabnam's our secretary, but we can also have backup and have, successors kind of rising up with us. So it helps to delegate so that, if the Sergeant of Arms isn't available and Dave is not available, there's other people that can be there to set up the meeting or whatnot. And when that happens, we all work as a very well-oiled machine. We're all communicating on the back end, and then we show up to have a successful meeting every week.
Right.
Can I add something to that, Killen?
Please.
Yeah, so I believe that the succession plan, also another benefit I just thought of is providing us with, it's accelerating our growth basically, not just our personal growth, but also the person that we're preparing to take over the role, because now they get to practice and see what leadership looks like. And once they step into the position, when their term comes, they are already prepared so they can be more effective. And now they can also take that out into their lives because they have already seen what leadership looks like. So I think that's a great benefit to it. For me personally, I find it's a great benefit.
Agreed, 100%.
Great point.
Yep, it's a great distinction because we're able to set up our successors, and then also be the predecessor for it. So, it's kind of taking that one role, which we're about to go through, and then being able to tailor it for each. All right, are you guys ready to get into the roles?
Yes, let's do it.
Cool. So what I've done here is I've just gone through the high level, the leadership team, just so that, especially for the newer people, who exactly is in what role today and what we each do, basically. So our terms are, it's July 1st, right, David?
Yes.
July 1st through June for a year. Okay, so which that means is there's an election coming up this summer. So, start thinking about if you want to step into another role. And even if you don't feel ready by July, start thinking about, what other role that you kind of are interested in learning about, and then working with that person who's currently in the role. So David is our fearless leader. He stepped in at the last minute to be our president, and he's also, not only is he mentoring me in the role that he came from, but he's also working with Adelina for the president role, which is so awesome. So you are the father of the succession plan, and we are so lucky to be learning from you. In David's role, he already mentioned, like, there's a lot of things that he's doing that we don't see during the week. He rolls into the meeting cool as a cucumber, but he's been working his butt off all week. So thank you, David. Is there anything else you want to add, just as, your experience as president?
Yeah, I'll make it brief. The greatest benefit of being president is surrounding yourself with a great team. And that's true in any organization. Is you build a team around you so that the president does not have to do all the work, that the president delegates and brings out the best in them. So I would say that, that's been the greatest privilege this term, is to have a great team around us. And it's not always been that way at our club. And I would say that most clubs aren't that way. Typically you have one or two people in the officer role that does most everything, but we have such a solid team, and the president's role is to really be up in the, you know, kind of the macro view or up in the clouds and building a team to be down doing the work on the ground. And you can only do that if you have a strong team to do that. So yeah, I think that would be the only thing I would add, Keelan.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And then next we have the VP of Education. She's second in line. She is amazing. And, you know, ask any seasoned member of Toastmasters, and I've run into this outside of our club, you know, the VP of Education is probably one of the most challenging roles because there is so much to learn in Toastmasters. Yes. So Adelina, do you mind, you know, just saying a couple things about the role and your experience?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. So I think, so I took this role so abruptly when Vishnu left, and not even knowing what I got myself into. And I'm actually grateful for it right now because it gave me the opportunity to see that there is so much to do, and at the same time starting to think how we can make this more efficient and effective at the same time. So there is a lot of responsibility. David has been helping while we're kind of like figuring out what the roles, you know, what the responsibilities are, and considering that I think we never, or not never, however, I don't think we were really clear on that before, on what the VPE needed to do. And so practically we weren't really doing that. And so I think we're headed towards a clear path right now, and we're becoming a lot more effective in serving our members through this position a lot better. So I'm very excited for what's to come, and I'm super excited once we get this rolling, like almost automatically, to pass it on to Vanessa, because she is the one who is going to take over the VPE position during the next term.
That's awesome. That is amazing. Yay, Vanessa!
Yay, Vanessa!
Vanessa is amazing.
Oh, thanks, Adelina. You guys are all amazing. I mean, I'm so excited. And what David said is so true. It's the whole team, so that one person, like when Adelina becomes president, we are all doing our part to have our club run so successfully, like a well-oiled machine. It's not, the burden isn't all on her. It won't all be on Keelan or myself or David or anyone else. We're all doing our part. So
yeah, and that's exactly, you know, we can write this all down on paper, we can make, you know, templates and spreadsheets, but we are the living, breathing example of what David and Dane have put together here. So that's what intentional mentoring is. And I'm really proud of all of us to be sitting here and actually living what, you know, what that contract is. And that's really powerful. Mm-hmm. Next is the VP of Membership. So third ranking, Chris isn't here, so I'll just speak to his. It's really to ensure retainment of membership and, you know, bringing in new members as well. So if someone walks in the door, Chris is great about, you know, speaking to them about, you know, what the chapter is about, and kind of keeping in contact with them. And it goes hand in hand with the role I do as public relations. And I think a lot of you already know that, you know, we're known for videotaping our speeches. Most clubs do not do that. And I joined this club, not only did I fall in love with all of you, but also because of the videotaping and the structure that was already put in there. Because for me, being an artist, the value of what we do by videotaping ourselves, I sound so old, sorry, filming ourselves and then being able to review that, it shows. We did the competition this last Saturday. Adelina did a beautiful job. Congratulations.
So did you, Keelan. Congratulations. That took a lot of courage, what you did. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine? She actually went to do a table topics in front of the entire room. I thought that took incredible courage. Just imagine how scared we are to do that at the club level. Congratulations, Keelan. You're a trooper. You're awesome.
Well, thank you. But I wanted to have the congratulations towards you. because, you know, we can literally go back in time and watch ourselves grow and develop. And how cool is that? So, you know, when you're talking about Toastmasters clubs, I assure you that our club is really special in that way. And it's because David laid that foundation, because he also is a videographer and understands that value. So I am so appreciative that I've been gifted how to do that and how to do that successfully. And then, you know, the newsletter, I changed the font a little bit, and there's other great things down the line, like we're going to have an open house in a couple of weeks. So it's going to be a little different from our parties. So there's great ways in these two roles to expand membership, because we get more benefits from management, from the founders division, and we get free things the more that we grow our club. So that's all kind of part of the leadership, no matter what role you're in, but these two are really focused on that piece and the creativity part of it as well. Any questions about those before I move on? Okay.
Let me just add to that. I think those two roles are probably the most fun roles, the most creative roles, because you're dealing with people and you're a walking testimony of how great this club is. And I don't think I know that Keelan, you and Chris do such a great job of that. And you are constantly bringing people in, and Chris is always, you know, I mean, I think 2 or 3 people become members as a result of him. And I think it's just those two roles are pivotal and fun, but at the same time are out in the community and then also bringing people back in.
Yeah. And I want to add that these two roles, just what David said, they are the social roles. So I want to extend an offer, and not only to the people on the call, but anyone watching this and thinking about what roles to sign up for. Stretch yourself. If you're a little bit shy, and I mean, you're already brave that you walk into the Toastmasters meeting every week, but you know, if you want to kind of hone your networking skills, these are the roles to do that. And with the succession plan, you're not doing it alone. You have a team with you to help you.
Great
So
point.
you know, that's kind of another way to think about how can I, and even if you don't want to sign up for the role specifically, as I said, you know, we love help. We love delegation. We have things for you to do. So anyone who's kind of like, well, maybe I want to be treasurer, or maybe I want to be public relations, come to us. We're here to help you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry that the font's so small on this one, but you know, we've got the secretary and the treasurer. These are pretty standard. Any club needs these two pivotal roles. In Shabnam's role, really the secretary, the note-taking isn't as vital in our club, because really a lot of the note-taking ends up in the newsletter. But things like we could really use help with signing the video release forms and then having them documented somewhere. People helping with the roster. We have 4 different places where the roster is. So kind of just admin stuff that that is super, super important, but maybe not the most, you know, delicious. And then treasurer is super important. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, and Monica does an amazing job. She has like such an automated, perfect process. Her and Chris just have it all down. But she's a busy lady, and we're so lucky when she can give us her time. So, you know, in either of those roles, there's definitely opportunity for anyone to jump in and assist us. And the treasurer also, as I said, you know, I'm not strong at math. I am really not a fan of math at all. So, you know, the back of my head says, you should probably work with the treasurer a little bit. In whatever stage we are in life, we can always keep learning. So I encourage all of you, no matter how long you've been in Toastmasters, where you are in your life, to kind of look at these roles and see which one kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies, and that's probably the one that you should go for. So, and the 2 last ones, you know, Sergeant of Arms is actually probably the most important, because without that person there, it's hard to have a meeting, and Harmony really keeps things together. She is there, he is there, Harmony is there. First thing, before anyone else, setting up, putting out the signs in the street, and then Harmony is usually the last person to leave, putting out the waters, putting out the agendas and our ballots, all of that functional stuff. So anyone who's interested in that role, we always can use backups, just in case. It's great to have an army that can do a little bit of all of these things. And then, of course, our immediate past president. Once you're president and you leave that role, you are still revered, just like all of our U.S. presidents. You don't quite get a library, but maybe we are trailblazers. So perhaps you guys will get libraries. You never know. But anyways, so that's the high level of the rules. Do you guys have any questions?
So Keelan, are all these roles, they are going to have new successors as of July?
They are. I did tell David that I would do this PR role for a year. However, if there's someone who's interested in it, I by no means mind having an election and or having them go into that role, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit choppy,
right?
Moving forward. So I'm flexible in that.
So once you have this role for a year, then you can choose to do another role on the board for the next year. Is that correct? Or...
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a great segue, actually, because how do we enroll in this? How do we start planning? How do we go into our succession plan? What I would recommend is first talk to your mentor. First and foremost, each mentor should be equipped with the knowledge of how to kind of figure out what your next steps will be. Vanessa, you're already working with Adelina. And I've kind of picked on Natalie a little bit to sort of take over for, the PR position. But talk to your mentor about it. And then when this 90 days is up, I highly recommend, if there's a mentor out there who's already in the position you want to learn about, ask for that mentor, right? So, JP, if you were interested in the PR after the 90 days, you guys switch your mentors around, because we can all be learning from each other anyways. And then that way you're kind of shadowing your mentor as you're going through your pathways. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Another way to enroll is our open house that we're going to have, what is it, the 21st?
21st.
Yeah,
yes.
the 21st, which is the spring equinox, spring solstice, spring equinox. And in the past, we've done parties, which have been so much fun. And this one, we're actually going to be inviting the community. So please tell your friends, family. And we're going to have tables set up. And each table is going to have a theme for the different roles that are available. So you can actually talk to us, especially for the people who weren't on this meeting. You can come up and talk to us about our experience in those roles, as well as getting people to join our club. Because again, enrollment is important and we get free stuff. So let's get people in there. As well as if you have a business, like Chris Harris, he has a CBD business. So if you have some sort of business that you want to showcase, Bob Dole does the improv, which Kyla and I rocked last night.
Yeah.
He has a business, and as part of my PR position, I want to be able to showcase you guys. So if you have, a need for some space that you do want to speak about what you're working on, tell me. I also have white space in the newsletter. So, in that open house, so here's your opportunity to kind of dig a little deeper, speak with all of us, and then kind of, help enroll the community into what we're doing here. And then, we all have mentors right now. We are in this 90-day period. We're not quite at the halfway point. So let's say we piqued your interest tonight. Vanessa, you're working with Adelina, but you also want to learn a little bit more about the membership position. Mm-hmm. Ask us. JP, if you want to start learning more about membership or Sergeant Arms, ask us, because we all we all love extra help, and we all want to embrace whatever curiosity you have. So, and also David, I mean, David's always open to, you know, enrolling people in the president role as well. And it's anyone's game. So if you're interested, just talk to us, and we're happy to oblige.
Awesome. Awesome. Exactly. And can I add to that, Keelan? I think this, first of all, great presentation, and just a depth of knowledge for someone who has been in our club not even a year yet, right? How long have you been in our
Not even
club?
6 months. I joined on my birthday. So my half birthday is April 1st, April Fool's Day.
I mean, so thank you for bringing this knowledge, this information, much more than I thought we had. You just laid it out for us. So what I wanted to add to the point that you made is the opportunity to be a officer is definitely there to serve the club, and the benefit that you receive as a leader of this club is sometimes hard to describe. And Dane, I love how Dane always comes up with these great pictures of how to explain something. And I remember Dane telling me that the Toastmasters Club and the officer's role is like its own little franchise. And this speaks to me because I'm a business owner and I'm an entrepreneur, and I know we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our club. If you think of the officer's role, it's as if we are the C-suite of a large corporation that's been around for 100 years, and we are the franchise where we have the autonomy and the freedom to create whatever we want. And at the same time, you learn that skill by being able to, as Keelan, I love the word that she and the picture you have given me, it's a playground. We get to play in this playground of Toastmasters with money, people, structure, leadership, and then we can take it and refine it as we're growing it and developing, and apply it in all areas of our lives. And the one last thing I'll say about that is, once you become a leader, an officer on the officer team, I call it the ELT, Executive Leadership Team, is the day you take office is the day you start looking for someone to replace you.
Yeah.
And now with the mentorship program in place, and hopefully it's going to continue on, it will continue on, you will be able to have someone you could start mentoring. And we all know the one who learns the most is the teacher or the mentor. So if you want to continue using Adelina's words of accelerate your growth, this is a great way to do that. So thank you, Keelan, for doing a great job.
And I just want to point out that, you know, as David said, I jumped into Toastmasters not even 6 months ago. And the reason I can sit here and, you know, jump into these different roles and wear different hats is because someone taught me and enrolled me in a succession plan when I was in my early 20s. Because of that, because of that open door, it's enabled me to be curious, brave, just to jump in and try things. So I commend every single one of you for just being here and listening, if anything, but just being part of this community. So you guys are awesome. Yeah. So who's signing up for what?
There we go. There comes the ask.
Here's the call to action. Kyle, what do you want to do? What do you see yourself doing?
Wait, can you go back to the role so I can look through it again?
Of course. Yeah.
One more.
Yeah. I see president in his eyes, David. I don't know about you. But...
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe I have some thinking to do. Maybe, or maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Well, 2 weeks, there will be a table. There'll be tables with each one of these roles, and you would encourage you to go to all of them, but take the most time in the one that you think that you're most interested in. And to Keelan's point earlier, step in and shadow one of us. Take it for a test drive and see what it feels like.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. I got to ponder on it. I wasn't even thinking of this prior, so. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. And JP, I'm going to pick on you next. I know we're running out of time, but I just wanted to touch base.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested in probably Sergeant of Arms, but obviously as I'm long, I probably want to leave up public relations and then hopefully, inevitably, like become the president. But I guess that's just time and experience. Like I don't experience, get my feet wet and kind of figure things out.
Yeah, totally. And, for those roles, I know you showed interest in the Lady Liberty stuff, so, you and I could work together and you can still, you can explore all these together. So I recommend that. I love that curiosity. And then I think we have one more minute. So anybody else? I see Kevin's on the line. I know you don't have a video, but or Scott. Sorry, Scott. I don't know who else.
Sure, let's see. Well, first I was going to say VP of Education, but Vanessa's going for that. Next would be VP of Membership.
Cool.
Nice.
I've done the president role and the VPPR role in the past, so
Nice.
it'd be nice to try something different.
Love it. Excellent. And then Vanessa, I know you kind of already said education, but now that you've seen the other roles.
I think I would also be interested in the VP of Membership as a second choice, or maybe after I've already served a year in the VP of Education. I feel like education just really fits me because in the future I'm getting my master's in counseling and psychology, and just the aspect of me wanting to help students with leadership and self-confidence that really fits the education role for me. And I'd love to help all the new members, just reach their goals in speaking. So that role just really speaks to me.
Cool. I love it. Any other final thoughts before we switch gears? Okay. David, back to you.
Keelan, awesome. Oh my goodness. You, again, raised the bar of our training. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. You did a great job. And next week, you're going to be back again doing another training. So all of you that showed up tonight, come back next week. Okay, this is the HPL Guidance Committee. You are selected as being part of the High Performance Leadership Committee. This is level 5 of the Pathways Project. All of you will have a HPL project. And what that means is you get feedback from your peers, from people on the committee. And the purpose of this conversation now is to talk about the mentorship program. And I've been getting a lot of feedback from people who are fully engaged, and then there's many of you that aren't on the call that are not as engaged for various reasons. So for those of you that are engaged, there's the 3 questions that I'm asking each training session. And those 3 questions are: what's working best in the program? Where can we make improvements as the mentorship program? Because remember, it's a beta test. We're in the experimental stage. The plan is to get to May 5th, I believe, is the final conclusion of the 90 days, and then roll it out for another 90 days. But let's start in the 12 minutes that we have left. Go around the room. If you can just give some feedback as I'm taking notes here. What is working well in the program? And since go ahead, Keelan, since you're on the screen.
What is working well is communication, because I feel really lucky that I am a mentor and a mentee. So making sure that I'm checking in with both of those people. It's a couple times a week, which is really great. It wasn't that wasn't the bar that we set, but it just, the relationships are blooming that way. So that's working well. And I feel good about Jeannie and myself, because as I said, anything that she does, I hold myself accountable to do it with her. So we both have signed up for roles, I think, for the next 5 weeks, or I think she had to sign up for 5 sessions in the next, coming meetings, because she can't go to each one. So I feel pretty good about that and holding myself accountable as her mentor to do what she's doing as well. And she rocked it as Toastmaster last week. So.
Yeah, that's great. Great insight. The communication piece, Keelan, is huge. And not only that, but there's flexibility and there's some fluidity, if that's a word, to the program, meaning that it's set up, can be every week, every other week. The structure is every other week, but within that, there's calls that are happening all the time. Text messages at 9 or 10 o'clock at night before a big speech, and, there's cross mentoring, reverse mentoring, where I'm helping other mentees with their speeches, and I'm not mentoring them specifically. So there's just this collaboration of communication. So thank you for that, Keelan. Anyone else want to add, what do you see working well in the mentorship program?
I think just the relationships that have blossomed, like with myself and Adelina, how through, she coaches me on my presence and my speaking voice, which is something I've asked for help on. And just the trust that has developed between us, that we both want the best for each other, and that relationship, it just makes the mentorship program all the more better. It just makes the performance all the more better when I get on stage. So I just think the relationship that has developed just goes a long way past the mentorship. It's just a friendship, really.
Love that, right? I mean, it's almost like the mentorship relationship is the first step to get into a deeper relationship with a person. Yes. And this, to Dane, if you're watching this, I was hoping Dane was going to be here tonight. Darn it. Part of Dane's vision of being a tribe of transformation was that we would meet outside of the weekly meetings. Remember when he said that? And he was so good about bringing people together for the summertime hikes or going out to dinner or drink afterwards. And he was just so good about building community. And this is just continuing that vision of us. I mean, I've been talking with many of you guys multiple times, meeting with you for coffee multiple times outside of the club meeting. So great point. And thank you for sharing that, Vanessa. And Dane, look what you've done. We're taking your vision and carrying it forward. And all of us, it's not just Dane's vision, what Dane has done, and I know he would say this, it's been embedded into the culture, and now we are taking it even further where we're owning it as well. So thank you for that, Vanessa. Anyone else want to add to what's working well?
I think as a mentor, I have the opportunity to learn things about myself. So I have these self-awareness moments that I value. I value self-awareness a lot, and I'm getting this as a mentor. And I know, David, you were the one persuading me to take on a mentoring role. And I thought, oh my God, there is so much on my plate. I don't know if I'm going to do a good job at this, and I shouldn't take it. So I'm so grateful. And thank you so much, David, that you convinced me to do this, because it does give me so much awareness, and I'm loving it.
Well, that's great, Adelina. I mean, we all look to you as a leader, and I think that the club would have missed out on your leadership, your mentorship, if you were not a mentor. So thank you for allowing me. And these are Amy's words. This is what Amy said, that what's working for her is this. Her mentor is giving her this gentle push. So thank you for allowing me, Adelina, to give you a gentle push.
Yes, thank you, David. I'm grateful for that gentle push. Very good.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Anyone else want to add to that before we go to where we could improve? I know some of you are just getting started. I see Scott and Kyle are just getting started. Kevin had to leave. One of the biggest challenges that I'll just lead with, and I know this was feedback that I received last time, and I'm trying to get caught up on it, is since John Barry had to leave us for Chicago, a lot of 9 of his mentees are not moving at the same pace as some of us, and that's okay because we're all on different paths at different times, and I'm okay with that. But I also want to make sure that the people that have not connected with their mentors, that they have an opportunity, and I'm going to say this right now, to not only connect with me, but I know that there's other mentors like Keelan and Adelina that would step in and help facilitate to get you moving. So there are mentors other than myself, because I know that, like I said at the top of the call, that a great leader knows how to delegate. As much as I would say, yeah, give them all to me, but I know that there's so many of us that are here to help, because like we're hearing, the mentorship program is so valuable and powerful, but I know that we could bring some of you along to make sure that you get into that first mentor session. So that's one of the challenges that I see, is that there's a group of you that have not even had your first mentoring session yet, and I want to help over the next couple of weeks before we meet again to make that happen. So what are some of the other challenges that you guys see?
I had a challenge that, and it's kind of what Adelina was saying, was learning my own style. Last week there were some roles that were missing, and I wish that I'd been more present to help her fill and ensure that those roles were filled. So that was a kind of a learning moment for me to ensure that, she was set up for success, and help her reach out to hold those people accountable, or just to, double check with them. That was kind of a big learning moment for me, because I wish I had that foresight to, help her with that.
I love that, right? I mean, we're learning about ourselves, right, Keelan, as far as what our own style of mentoring is. And not only our own style of mentoring, how to understand the style of mentee, how they like to be communicated to.
Yeah.
And even, do they want a gentle nudge, or do they want a kick in the butt? Right? I mean, so there's different ways that people respond to the mentee chair as well. So that's great. Any other challenges that you guys see that you want to add to the program? Any changes or anything different, or any challenge that you guys are seeing?
I'm honestly just concerned about the people who haven't been able to meet or take advantage of this. And I think it's worth finding out, if it's a time issue, if it's a time difference issue, how can all of us as a team support those who want to do the mentorship, but maybe can't find the time, things like that. Like, how can we all together kind of set everyone up? At least everyone who has a mentor at least do like one speech before, the time's up, or, just something that keeps it moving. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because you're right, Keelan. I feel the tension of those that have not experienced what we're experiencing. The tension of being able to get them set up for success, and for at least, I would say, not only one speech, one mentoring session.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the goal, is to look around. And maybe this is where we collectively, those of you that are here right now, part of this committee, and those that are watching that are part of the committee, let's start asking people if they've had their first mentoring session. Okay. And if they haven't, let's start asking the question, why? You signed up for it. What's keeping you from being mentored? And then how can I help you get into that first mentoring session? And then let's come together, talk to me, talk to Keelan, talk to Adelina, and let's figure out how we can get those people into their first mentoring session. Even if we have to help John, not if, since we will help John Barry out, because right now,
We have to.
John will not be back until probably mid or end of March. And I'm going to be calling all of his mentees and helping them get started. So thank you for that, Keelan. Great insight. There is a lot more that we collectively can do. So let's do that. Yes.
I will say for anyone watching or anyone who hasn't had a mentor meeting yet, you know, it's not a ton of time, and maybe the spreadsheet is scaring people or whatnot, but
Good
really
point.
it's just, you know, sometimes just speaking your truth and, you know, just telling someone else like what you want is going to help. So, you know, we're not going to bully you into doing it, but it's really beneficial. So we're here just to help you when you're ready, basically.
Perfect. Yes, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have 2 minutes left. Does anybody want to add to the challenges or changes? Challenges or changes? I think we have good direction moving forward. Okay, and next, let me see, in 3 weeks, I will be giving a speech on kind of what I've been learning or what we have been learning. So I'll be able to present it to the club in a speech, kind of a midpoint checkup and follow up. And then the final speech will be on, here's what we've learned. And once that's done, that will complete the HPL and then help me to complete that level 5. So thank you guys for letting me be part of this program and share it with you. And I'm open to any feedback, anything that you want me to do differently. Raise your hand now and say, Makla, you talk too much, or you give us too many spreadsheets, or you're driving us too hard.
David, I just want to say real quick, the way you've organized everything is exceptional. It's just phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. So I just want to thank you for that. You know, it just keeps everybody on task.
Well, I appreciate that, Vanessa. I you know, for me, it comes naturally because I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm reminded often by Dane. That's where the reverse mentoring comes in. As much as I'm coaching and mentoring Dane, he's saying, you know, you have to remember that you've been doing this for a long time. And what I'm giving to you guys is 15 years of experience that I wish I could accelerate and say, take it now, all of it. But I'm learning to give bite-sized pieces. And you guys are helping me to know what bite-sized pieces I should give to you. And maybe that's what you could do in the next HPL. And this is where I'll leave you. Next HPL meeting 2 weeks from now, think about the little morsels, the nuggets that you have learned and that you would like me to continue to give, because I can overwhelm people at times with too much information. So I will leave it with that and say thank you all for being here. What a privilege it is to be on this journey with you. And I look forward to being with you all next week. And again, thank you, Keelan. And congratulations, Keelan. Congratulations, Adelina.
Yay, Adelina.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, you guys. All right, thanks, guys. Good night. We'll see you guys.
Hey, guys, tomorrow night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.